Hi everyone, I'm Jada Burt and this is In My Tracks. You know that feeling when a song comes on and it's so good that it feels like you're frozen in time? Well, that's what this podcast is all about. Songs that stop me in my tracks. I chat with musicians about their inspiration, process, and challenges, and you discover your new favorite songs. The Wonderlands are a newly Nashville-based pop band originally from Cincinnati. Since releasing their debut album, This Digital Life, in 2020, they have fearlessly grown, adapted, and reinvented their sound. Their music reflects the ever-evolving feelings of nostalgia, loneliness, and love, without being too heavy, morose, or trite. After starting as a duo, the band has since expanded to a 5-piece and amassed over 40,000 monthly listeners on Spotify. Let's get tracking. All right, welcome to In My Tracks with me, Jada Burt. Today I'm speaking with the Wonderlands, Adam and Miles.
Yeah,
so
happy to be
I'm
here.
so excited.
Yeah.
So excited to be with you guys today. So I'd love to learn about how you two met and formed the band.
This is always a good story.
Always a good story, yeah. So Adam and I have known each other for a long time now. But we met at church youth group at a youth group event where I walked in, and Adam was also kind of a newer member to this youth group, I think. And he just like, within 10 minutes of me being there, just like smoked me in the face with a beach ball.
Oh.
And I just was very confused. But after that, we were friends forever. That's the short of it, I guess.
Oh my God.
But yeah, I don't really know how that even happened.
I don't even know.
Back.
I just thought I was cool.
Yeah, I don't know. Adam was a baseball player in grade school and high school. But yeah, we met when Adam hit me in the face with a beach ball. And we just kind of talked ever since then, and then started a band.
Wow, bullying works.
Yeah,
bullying works.
Bring back bullying.
Helps you. Yes, yes, bullying. That's the way to make friends these days, guys. Bullies. Tell your kids to bully. They'll never be lonely. All right, sweet. So that's a really interesting story.
Yeah.
So you started out by hitting Miles in the face.
Yeah.
How did the band come to be?
Miles and I had played in youth group, youth band, and we played acoustically for a couple years. And then we really sucked. So we were like, we really
by ourselves.
Yeah, by ourselves as an acoustic duo. We were just not
great.
So
A lot of Mumford & Sons covers.
yeah, a lot of gigs where we never got paid.
Yeah.
Oh no.
So we ended up.
We didn't deserve it. Don't say it.
No, we didn't.
We didn't deserve
it
a dollar.
Everyone deserves money.
No.
Not us at that stage. We played.
Yeah.
We played for pizza, basically.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
But we ended up, or Miles knew Jill, who is our keyboard player, and Jill was a part of a
Instructional.
yeah,
I don't even know.
It's
Organization.
called School of Rock. They're
Yeah.
pretty.
They have them all over.
Yeah.
They're just kind of like after school, like music instruction places, basically.
So Miles knew Jill from high school. Jill was part of School of Rock, where she knew Patrick, our guitarist, and Derek, our drummer. And we ended up asking Jill to join this crazy thing that we had no idea what it would be. And we were like, we need a drummer. And she knew Derek was the best around here.
He really is.
Which he is. And we enticed him.
Yeah.
We sat down and met with him
Sat down,
and
have a coffee.
showed him some early demos of
Schmoozed him a little bit.
yeah. So
Because it really, at first, when we started, was not his type of music. He's really influenced by gospel music, and his main inspiration is Questlove. So he's more of a R&B groove, like pocket style drummer. He can play anything, obviously.
Yep.
But we were making music that wasn't that at first. And really I've only made one song in that genre kind of ever since. But yeah, we had a song called, which one was it? Runnin'.
Yeah.
I think maybe. That's one of our earlier songs that he liked. And so, and he also knew that if Jill was involved, he would want to be involved. And then those two kind of wrote Patrick in after the fact.
And that's how we brainwashed
band
them.
started with me and Adam
Yeah.
alone. And then we decided to take it seriously about 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And that's when we decided to make ourselves the worst musicians in the room. That's the only way you can get better, really.
Yes, absolutely. Derek is extremely talented.
He's crazy.
I mean, I have never seen a better drummer in my life.
Yeah.
Like, so talented.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, moment for Derek. There you go. Hello.
Yes. Shout out Derek.
Yeah. So, how did you guys come up with the name like the Wonderlands?
Yeah. I'll talk.
Go ahead.
Take
it.
It's funny. We get asked as to the how did you meet in the band name. People were curious. We should hear our first band name.
It doesn't matter. We're not
Yeah.
saying anything.
Our first band name was called We the Ubiquitous, and nobody could spell it or remember it.
Yep.
So when Adam and I decided to get serious about the band, I finally convinced him we needed a new name. And after much back and forth, just like 3 days straight of, we weren't talking while we were texting, we were just texting band name suggestions, like back and forth. It would just be like, no. And then our biggest musical inspiration for both of us, I would say, is the lead singer of a band called Switchfoot. His name's John Foreman. And he has a solo career just under his own name, John Foreman. He put out a series of albums called the Wonderlands EPs. And they, like, I don't know if a body of work has ever influenced me more. It's up there for sure. Top 5 like groupings of songs all time for me. Lyrically, musically, everything in between. And we just decided to call the band the Wonderlands, kind of based off of that. So, and then I met him at a Reds game not too long ago, and Adam wasn't with me. Like, Adam and I usually go to a lot of Reds games together, but Adam wasn't with me at this one. And he was in the ice cream line at Graders, and I got to shake his hand, so that was cool.
That's so cool you've already built this project, and then you're trying to come up with a good name people can spell, like it's easily recognized, and then you get inspiration from an artist you really admire.
Yeah.
Are there any other artists out there that have really helped you like form your sound and, you know, become the band you are today?
For sure.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, anything from Switchfoot to I think we're in a 1975 trend right now.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Heavy
Yeah.
1975
Oh my
phase right
gosh.
now. Yeah. Their latest album is insane.
Good stuff. Yeah.
It's like we'll get into
Yeah,
a
we'll
long
get into
tangent
it.
about it.
You know,
we had a long discussion last weekend about
we're
it.
also we've been in a Red Hot Chili Peppers kick right
Ooh,
now.
yes.
For whatever reason.
I've never been on a Red Hot Chili Peppers kick. This is the first one in my life. I should have been there by now, but just like a week ago I got on. I've never listened to any song past Californication, and just started listening to their whole discography about a week ago, and it's incredible. Because we heard Anthony Kiedis give an interview, who's the lead singer, and we were like listening to him talk, like, this guy's like just a like visionary, like, oh my God. And so yeah. So, but overall musical inspirations, though, I'd say there's more that started it. I don't know. Early for you, who do you think?
Early when we were just
earlier
us.
like when we were first like maybe calling Jill.
I mean, I had just at that point I just discovered John Bellion,
Yeah, that's a big one I think.
discovered
of too.
Lawrence.
Yeah. So yeah, I was gonna say John Bellion too.
Yeah.
Specifically his making of videos where he kind of goes through step by step how he got from ideation to creation of full song really inspired me as a songwriter. So
Yeah, I would say for me it was like seeing his live show in Cincy.
Yeah.
Was probably the best live performance I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Which-
and I mean, also like just his, I don't know, he in those making of videos, it's just the songwriter in me. It was just like admiring him and how he works, how he's not afraid to take chances and all that sort of thing. So yeah, Imagine Dragons, maybe their first album. That's it. Cut off after the first album. But
Coldplay, we're missing Coldplay.
we're
here
missing
too.
Coldplay, but everybody's inspired by Coldplay. That's not cool, you know.
Shout out to Coldplay. Thank you for the music. So you two mentioned you met at youth group and have met other people that way. Who would you say, as you've grown as a band, like who do you say you make music for at the moment?
It's a good question.
I would love to say that I'm selfish and make music for myself, but I think the biggest thing I think of when we're making music or even performing music, it's just for anyone and everyone. There's not a more beautiful sight than when you can stand up on a stage and see people from all different backgrounds and all different just walks of life, and it's
Yeah.
for me. I mean,
I think one of the cool things about this band and the genre we've kind of slotted into is that you can listen to it, and it being generally like we don't advertise this as a family friendly thing, but generally it usually is listenable if you're a child or if you're, a super, an 8-year-old or an 8-year-old really. So we, I would say we have a pretty wide audience in mind when we're making this stuff. And we actually scrapped a song last year that, and we might bring it back. We're trying to decide, but we did scrap a song that had some profanity in it because we were just afraid of of the consequences of putting out 2 full-length albums that didn't have a single, and like people love listening with their families, and we hear that all the time. Like we hear from parents that it's great to listen to music that they can enjoy, that their kids also love, because a lot of times their kids' music is awful and they like hate listening to it. So that's been cool to hear, and we don't want to lose that. We definitely try to keep that in mind. But I would say lately, when we've been making music, we've been thinking more about us, like what we really want to do, and trying to be less afraid of kickback from our audience and stuff. Because I think it's time for us to take chances, and my favorite artists always do, and their fans always follow them through that. So I don't know. I think it's for me making music for us right now. Yeah. On this new album, this new project. So yeah.
That's amazing to get to that point where you're self-aware enough to take in the feedback that you're getting, but also like coming back at the end of the day and being true to your artistry and really taking ownership. Yeah,
that's
it's a good.
Fine line that we definitely don't know how to balance that.
Yeah,
no. we will figure it out, I'm sure.
Definitely. So we'll be interested to see if an explicit song comes out.
Yeah.
It is.
It is.
That is funny. So your band has from what you've said so far, has gone through like a journey, different names, different, members. It was 2 of you, then you've extended to other musicians. What would you say like makes your band work, and like how have you lasted for as long as you have with all the changes?
Oh gosh. Well, I would say just being honest with each band member and being upfront with every decision we make, whether it's financially or just what we're doing on the back scenes, because Miles and I are really the 2 working behind the scenes.
The way it works is Adam and I handle a lot of the administrative type work.
Yeah.
And we try to let Jill, Patrick, and Derek focus on just playing, because that's what they're amazing at. So Adam and I make up for our lack of proficiency at our instruments with booking the gigs and handling schedules and set lists and all that sort of thing. But to add to what Adam was saying, I think the vibe of our band internally is what has kept us together and allows us to continually grow. Like Adam was saying, finances, Adam and I handle those, but we're super open. We show them, if they ask, or sometimes we'll show them without them asking even. But, we split money from shows equally. We have all of our split sheets for publishing points and money from streaming. Like we have it all laid out in an Excel sheet that we all agreed on and signed off on. We have a band agreement with some just like general rules that we all signed off on, like playing sober and just like how to conduct yourself basically, as like we're trying to hold ourselves to kind of a standard.
Yes.
And we got together and really like intentionally discussed all these things, just trying to mitigate things that break bands up a lot of times, which is money and drugs.
Yes.
Are the 2 biggest things. So
yes.
We just have a couple of like kind of ground rules and expectations that we stick to. So and we're all like, we weren't friends at the start. Like we didn't know Derek and Patrick at all.
No.
And now definitely as a result of putting those guidelines in place and also just working cooperatively for this long, like we are best friends with them at this point. Yeah. So
there's not a day that goes by we don't talk to them.
It's the best now. So having a close working relationship with the people in your band is super important. Even if some other people that aren't in your band are better players, like it's just more important to curate having a good vibe at rehearsal and in the studio.
Definitely.
So
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. Transparency is so important. I'm glad you mentioned that. And then having that great relationship, because you really can tell when band members don't like each other. The sound might be tight, but you can tell that they are really getting on each other's nerves. So that's amazing that you guys have that chemistry, and that, you might not have had that friendship at the beginning, but that grew, and it definitely comes through in the sound. So that awesome. It's definitely wonderful.
Cool. Makes us happy.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's amazing. As you continue to grow, what do you think you would want the band to be known for?
Man, some really good questions, Jada.
Thank you.
I think the biggest thing especially I, want to be known for is just living as honest as I can. That's kind of why I do music in general. It's just because life is short, and you just got to be honest and authentic. It's what, at the end of the day, that's what I would want to be known for with this group.
Kind of ties back into what we were about to go into with the 1975 album. But we had the chance to have a long drive in the car together last weekend, which we haven't had in a while. And that's when when we're alone together for a long time, that's like how we ideate some stuff for albums, and just like we'll start talking and it'll spiral into like, wow, that'd be a really cool concept for something. But getting back to what we want to be known for, we were talking about the 1975 album, and I was like, the reason I love this so much is because I can tell that he's telling the truth to me, and that's what Adam's saying, I think.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, yeah,
but
exactly.
I want to be known for like being as intentional and honest with lyrics and musical choices, and just like kind of I was telling you guys before we even started recording, like we are at the spot now where like we've tried to make really radio sounding pop music with a lot of production elements, and it just didn't, like, we like those songs, and one of them is our most popular song, but we are now in this space where we like let the sound of the band kind of do the talking, and then we add production elements around that. And that definitely started happening when we added Derek and Patrick into the mix. And so, yeah, we're just trying to be as honest as we can in all aspects. Like, what is the most authentic and real choice we can make at every step of the way? And that's what we want to be known for, I'd say.
Yeah, that is so important. Honest and authentic. You can tell, like, listeners can tell, like, music lovers can tell when artists are like pumping out songs just to like get a hit.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's a pain. It's not fun as a fan. Like,
yeah.
So it's great that it's good to get to a point where you're ready to tell your truth and actually speak about what you want to speak about, what you feel, like what you think, without having to think about making a hit. Like, it's just
and
boring.
it's weird because we definitely need a hit still. Like, it's not like we it's, we haven't made it in air quotes, but even the 2.5 years we've been doing this, which is a relatively short amount of time for a band that is playing the long game, promotion of a song you don't believe in is the most, it's like banging your head into a brick wall. Like, when you have to post TikToks and make Instagram posts and do album art and do all the things that surround a promotion of a song, and you really don't believe in the song that much, or like the lyrics of the song, it's like really hard to do it. So we're making the music more about what we want to talk about, I think, now, just because out of necessity and like our sanity more than anything else. Definitely. And if people like it, they can like it, and if they don't, they don't. But we've decided to stop, at least I have in my writing, decided to stop trying to chase the hit type of thing.
Yes.
So
that's amazing. Like, because, man, I'm not gonna call anyone out, but
no, let's call people out.
aren't we tired of the formula though? Like, like the songs that clearly use a specific formula, a specific writing style, just to get
it's visible.
It's so boring. Like, it's
boring,
so boring.
and that's okay. Like, because some people don't have the time to be a music listener. Some people want, I won't name anybody either, but some people want to just turn on the radio and hear, song that's going to make them dance or make them happy, and that's like totally fine. But the way we're interfacing with music is like dissecting it, you know, lyrically and musically, harmonic structure, everything. And so when there's no meat to chew on, it's disappointing.
Yeah.
As a true fan of music. So, but sometimes it's fun. Like that new Carly Rae Jepsen album is insane, and it's not complicated or anything.
Yeah, we love pop.
It's so good.
Yes,
so good. So
we
it has
love
its it has its time and place. All of it does.
Yeah, we love pop. We love simple music. But tell the truth. So
Yes.
it's great.
That's so true,
Yeah,
Jada.
yeah. It's great that
that
you
tatted
guys
on
are
my
getting
chest.
there. Yes, tell the truth. Tell the truth. But yeah, so I'm glad that, you know, as a band, you guys value transparency, telling the truth, really following your heart and your beliefs, because it really does come through in the music, and it has shown like how you guys have improved over the years.
Awesome.
So with that being said, like, what do you hope to accomplish with the band?
I think if you asked us a year ago, it probably would have been a more numbers-based answer to the question. There would have been a set goal of listenership or followers involved, which would be nice. You know, getting the Spotify numbers up is always a good look. But I think now my goal is just to make a living doing this, certainly, which we're approaching. It's not, you know, an unreasonable future to foresee, but to also affect people's lives, I think is my overall goal now, and all that I really care about. Just to have a song that people don't even necessarily like, doesn't go viral or anything, but if somebody can cry to one of our songs or feel better after listening to one of our songs or remember a loved one after listening to one of our songs, you know, I think just to have music that truly affects people is my goal now. Yeah. So
I echo that. I know the biggest thing for me is I want to be able to live off of it, be able to support my wonderful wife and 2 puppies. But
I mean, you can't take the finances out of the goal.
You can't.
Like,
Yes.
it's a thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
Absolutely.
it's
because it's
and we're constantly trying to find ways to get there. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, you're
But,
fine,
yeah.
because it's at the end of the day, it's a dream, and like if you can make money from your dream, then I think you're
living life.
You're living life. Yeah.
Living
Yeah.
like Larry at that point.
Absolutely.
But
Yeah.
not that
So,
Larry.
but yeah, the biggest thing, being able to support myself and my family, and then just enjoy like waking up every morning.
Yeah.
Like I've been to the point of where, you know, I work full time outside of this, and it's like at the end of the day, that's not the only like piece of the puzzle. There's so much more to live for outside of day to day, like working a 9 to 5. So, and this music is so much more meaningful, and
I think that we've found that as music becomes a more prominent part of our working life, even music and music creation can have a 9 to 5 feel some days.
Yeah.
For sure. And so,
especially in the studio.
yeah, the studio can be a grind. It's fun. It's obviously like I wouldn't choose anything else over going to the studio, but there is something even outside of music, because music is still our job. I think we're discovering together, like there's just the living that happens in between. Even when you get to do your dream most of the day, which is making music, it still is exhausting. And like the people, my friend Adam Paddock, he's a singer-songwriter. You should have him on sometime. His merch and his whole brand is "People are the point," and that I think is becoming more and more true. Just trying to not ignore those moments that slip through the cracks as you're trying to accomplish this goal, this big North Star type of goal. It's really the living that happens along the way.
Yes.
That's important. So, yeah, I don't even know where I was going with that, but I got on my
It's perfect.
soapbox.
It was beautiful.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. So how do you stay grounded and really focus on the day-to-day, what's going on, not getting beaten down by the things you have to do when you have this like big thing you really want to do and that you really enjoy, that actually like feeds you, gives you joy, but you have to do this thing to fund it? Like how do you get through that without, I'm not going to say it, you know,
getting super depressed.
Yes.
Crying
yes.
and doing a bunch of drugs at night.
Yeah. Staring at a wall.
Just kidding.
Staring at a window.
I'm sorry.
Staring at the ceiling.
I'll say it for you, Jada.
Yeah.
I'll take the hit so you don't have to say crazy stuff on your own podcast. We have, well, number one, finding ways to make the finances or like finding revenue streams for the band that are still fun and give us joy. Like we're starting this whole apparel brand now that isn't necessarily merch for our band. It's more of like a streetwear, like Golf LaFleur, Tyler the Creator type of thing. And we're working with a designer and we got an investment to start it. And like, so finding ways to make the work that we do fun and joyful, but also, I don't know, outside of that, you probably have a different answer than I do, but how do you find like, I don't know, the will to keep going when it gets really hard?
I think the biggest thing for me is like the support system that I have, like outside of you. Like you and I balance off each other pretty easily.
Yeah.
Like when one of us are having a good day, the other, the others can, or I should say, if one of us are having a bad day, the other one really kicks in. We're really good at like that teeter-totter.
Yeah, we've been doing that for a long time since like youth group. We were leading the youth group we were in at one point, and so ever since then we've been kind of like working together on just like being the head of an organization or like a group of people, and we're pretty good at, like Adam said, like that ham and egg of like if he's having a bad week, like I'll take over more of like what he usually does, and more often than not when I'm having a bad week, he is taking over what I'm doing. So the support system.
Like I know like my wife, it's crazy that she is okay with me doing what I do because like in society now it's like people are like get a job, settle down, and that's it. Like they're content, and you got me over here who's doing the complete opposite. So to have her support me is the biggest thing that keeps me going, because I don't know, just because I don't know what I'd do.
Similar for me, like my support system. My father is an entertainer, and he's been a stand-up comedian for 40 years. And so my whole life, I've seen him make a living in an alternative way, and that's been encouraging because he never, he'll tell you this. He got very close to being extremely famous back in the 80s and 90s. He ran around with all the pack of famous comedians, the comedy gold age, kind of in LA, and he lived in LA for 20 years. And but at the end of the day, a sitcom never panned out for him, like the huge stuff that makes people multi-bajillionaires. But when he is at home with me, he just tells me how happy he is because he has everything he ever wanted, and he got to, do comedy for a living, which is the most outrageous and outlandish thing. And so he considers himself extremely lucky, and I see that in him, and I just want that for myself. If I can provide for myself and do music, that'll be great. So just seeing other people that have done it. I listen to a lot of musicians and songwriters who, like Anthony Kiedis, lead singer of the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Californication didn't come out until he was, in his mid-30s at least, I think. So knowing that sometimes you just got to push through those bad days to get to what's on the other side is very helpful as well.
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's also important. Just sticking the course and kind of just doing what you have to do, but still making time for what you really want to do. It's hard, but
yes,
you have to do it because like people die like every day with their music. Like they die with their opinions, all of their ideas. So it's really a beautiful thing for you guys to actually like produce and release your work.
Yeah, that's what I actually just gave a talk at my old high school. They asked me to come speak at Career Expo Day because my high school is not known for the arts, really. It's more of an engineering, like STEM type of high school. And so they asked me to come talk to, kids who are looking at creative fields. And I flashed a slide that said, I forget what the exact quote is, but it's something along the lines of most men, or meaning people, lead lives of quiet desperation and die with the song inside them. And like that's what I was trying to get across to them, and something Adam and I talk about all the time is like you cannot die with that song inside you.
No,
like it's the most important thing.
Yeah, and that song too is like what you have to say within music or anything, any art platform that you do, it can be something that someone needs.
Yeah.
And you're almost doing society a disservice because you're not giving your art, like you're not
Absolutely
putting your art out there.
I've thought that since
especially
the
when
beginning.
people need it.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah. You never know when people need it. So
Exactly.
yeah, it's a beautiful thing. It's amazing that you actually like get to the point where you can like share your work. You never know who you touch. So yeah.
Absolutely.
Great. So you guys have already kind of touched on working in the studio and songwriting, but what would you say is your favorite part of the music making process?
Let's you wanna
Go ahead.
take that?
I gotta think about that for a minute.
Yeah, me too. That's why I asked you to take it. I'll start rambling now.
That's fine.
Oh, well, there's a couple of different phases to how we do it. So usually, this might be changing as of very late, but I usually will bring in the structure of a song, so the chords and a lyrical melody and kind of the map of the song. And my favorite part is me having a demo of the song and not really knowing what it's going to sound like, and then Patrick and Jill and Derek get to breathe life into that, because that's what they do. You know, when you can tell when someone's put their time and energy into playing. That's definitely not what Adam and I did when we were younger. We were always more business oriented and songwriting and lyric oriented. But those three can play just straight up. And so they get to put almost like their paint on the canvas. 'Cause it's a skeleton when I bring it in, and they just add so much, and it's so fun to watch it come together. I would say like the first rehearsal of a new song is a really cool moment, and then when we get back to final master is a really cool moment too. It's like, wow, we made this thing
Yeah.
that didn't exist before. So yeah, I don't know if that's my official answer to the question. Ask me in a month. I don't know.
Yeah.
It might be different.
For you said it, but for me, it's like not necessarily like, I think what happens within the process, kind of going back to what you were saying earlier, like the places where like the light shines, or not the light shines, but like the cracks of time, like that we get to be able to spend together. Studio days are fun. Practicing, it's like in general, it's like being able to spend the time together for me is.
Yeah, it's like bonding.
Yeah.
And like finding out, you can find out a lot about a person like when you're in the studio, I feel like.
Yeah, you'll see their highest of highs and lowest of lows.
Yeah, especially me.
Yeah.
I'm a notorious mood swinger in the studio. Yeah.
I can't take it anymore.
Yeah, just
No,
like
that's exactly
after you hear your own song. I'll tell you my least favorite part of making a song is when you're just like editing a vocal, or like, you know, doing a repetitive take of something and hearing your own song 800 times back to you, and you're on like hour 6 of 8, and that's my least favorite part. You often find me laying on the floor like crying.
Crying, yes, studio crying. Shout out.
Yeah, seriously.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, it's really cool that your band has this system where you have 2 members who are kind of working on the songwriting, working on the business side, and then you have, you know, collaborators who are also members of the band who bring their special talent and kind of breathe life into the song.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. So do you see the band expanding? Do you think you guys are tight like as you are as a unit now?
Yeah, I think we're stuck on 5 for a long time. We've talked about it.
Yeah, there's always possibilities of having,
Yeah.
Outside talent assisting for certain live shows.
And we
or
do
even
that.
Records. Yeah,
We just filmed a live session at Monastery Studios, which is on the other side of Cincinnati, and we had our friend Lee Sullivan come in and play sax on that. And like, we'll do something like that from time to time. Like, we have a couple of features out on Spotify, friends of mine who also write. But as far as like permanent, you know, like touring / live show members, we're sticking to 5, and then probably going to add like tracks for those small elements that might just need, you know, for one song or something. But but we definitely talked about it. Once we saw Lawrence play for the first time, we were like, we need horns.
Right.
And then
and Derek
was like, we don't need horns. And I was like, you're right.
Derek
You're right, Derek.
was like, absolutely not. Man, I can talk about Lawrence all day. What
We can
a
talk about
band.
him.
What a band.
They're
Shout out to Lawrence.
Huge inspiration. We didn't talk about them enough, I don't think.
No, they're literally Gracie, Clyde, and Jordan, and the rest of them too. They're the nicest human beings
They're
in the
so
world.
nice. Yeah, we've had the great fortune of working with them 3 times now, and I got Clyde's phone number after the second one, and he wasn't a famous musician, just spent an hour on the phone with me in the middle of his day one day, just giving me so much good advice. I mean, we were sitting there frantically like taking notes and stuff, but they are the nicest people we've ever met in the music industry, I would say, and so giving of their time, even when they're on a busy tour. Like the second time we played with them was at the Bluestone in Columbus, and they were just deceased nearly after touring for the whole year, basically, and they still gave us a lot of great advice and time, and just like intentional time, not like kind of brushing us away. It's like really they'll sit down and talk to you.
Yeah.
Which is just like it means the world to somebody in our position. So,
yeah, that's what we need.
Yes. And we now, to talk about what we want to be remembered for, like that would be a great thing to be remembered for too, is like being very giving. If we ever reach a level of success like they do, we would always want to help foster new artists into the professional music sphere, because it's a very tricky and very complicated game to play. So,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's no reason to gatekeep. Like it's
exactly.
It's so wonderful to have like people at all levels just willing to help everyone, because like everyone's going to die. So I feel like you might as well just help everyone out, because we're all going to die. Like at some point,
100%.
just saying, like, come on guys, stop gatekeeping.
You should ride in the car with me and Adam sometime. We talk about the
Be
fact we're all
kind.
going to die a lot sometimes.
Yes, be kind, guys.
Yes.
If you get nothing else, be kind.
I have to imagine that they encountered an artist along the way that also gave them similar energy when they were starting out. Their first tour is with Blues Traveler, a famous band. I don't know if you know them or not, but the great band, Blues Traveler, and also John Bellion, I have to assume, has been super giving of his time to them. So yeah, we want to be like that too.
Yep, that's amazing. So thinking about like, you know, recording songs, releasing them, performing them, like what would you say is your favorite song you've released and performed?
That'll be maybe different for both of us. I don't know.
I have a different one, different than release versus perform. I think our favorite one, and I don't know if it'll ever change, but The Push is by far my favorite one that we've released. It was really, it was like this magical moment where, and the first true song where all 5 people from the band were in this song. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Correct.
I want to make sure it wasn't crazy.
No, you're right.
But it was just so magical being in the studio, like, and magical recording the music video and playing it live, and it was really nice. So that's my favorite one that's released. Favorite one to perform though is Hanging by a Thread.
Yeah.
There's nothing better than like opening up a show with that song.
Yeah.
And you just
we have had the great fortune to play those Lawrence shows and a few other shows in front of like larger crowds, like where you're talking about thousands of people, which is like a feeling in and of itself, crazy experience. But opening a show with Hanging by a Thread is really special, because it starts out kind of ambient and then just like 4 really hard hits on the drums, and we're into our most rock and roll type song that we usually kick off shows with. It's very fun to play live. I would probably agree. Or our new one, when I was younger. We've been playing it live for a few months now, and it's incredible live every time. Like, we just have so much fun.
Yeah.
But my favorite recorded song, probably The Push as well. Yeah, it's just like, it was a moment for our band, kind of when we realized that all 5 of us, it was going to work out. Yeah. Like, we had a good vibe in the studio, and we filmed this music video for it that we're still proud of to this day. Took a lot of effort over 2 days, put our bodies on the line, literally. Cameron, our videographer, hung out of a car, like going like 40 miles an hour down a street in our town, just hanging the camera out the side of a car to get this shot of us driving in a convertible, and it was snowing outside.
We were maybe 2 feet a foot
2
to
feet.
feet
We were like,
from
like
his-
this far
his
away from the
camera.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. Definitely don't recommend that.
No.
You should get insurance if you do a shoot like that. We didn't have anything, so we just kind of risked it all for the music video. But it was definitely a moment for the band to
Yeah.
make that song. So
That's amazing. Yeah, sometimes it's worth the risk.
Yeah.
I hope you
sometimes.
don't die, but you got a good music video out of it.
Exactly.
So watch the music
and
video.
if one of us was to die, the TikToks would go crazy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wait.
Yeah.
TikToks would do
You should
numbers.
just start. No.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, watch that music video. They put their lives on the line, like they said. Watch it.
Yes.
Hey everyone, hope you're enjoying getting to know the Wonderlands so far. I wanted to take a little break to introduce you to some of their music. This song of theirs really stopped me in my tracks. It really captures the spectrum of emotions you experience while growing up. The things you liked, the things you hated, and the things that made you totally cringe. Here's When I Was Younger by the Wonderlands.
Yeah, I was thinking something like da 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 da
Asleep at school and woke up in my parents' basement. Next thing you know, I'm lying face down, scraped up on the pavement. I found a telephone, called you for some directions home, and I'm stronger, not wiser, older, not getting better. When I was younger, I was told everything was so beautiful. When I was younger, when I was younger, when I was younger, I was bold. There was a fire in my bones. When I was younger, when I was younger. I risked it all to go and follow all my stupid passions. Not really working out, I guess that's why they say shit happens. I bought it long ago, but you've seen this film before, where I'm stronger, not wiser, older, not getting better. When I was younger, I was told everything was so beautiful. When I was younger, when I was younger,
So I chose a song when I was younger, and, you know, we have a funny story about how that song was chosen. Adam, do you want to tell it?
Yeah, I misread your email. That's the start of it.
Yeah.
I had went back and read today. It said 16 going on 23, and I texted Miles, and I was like, I accidentally submitted when I was younger.
Yeah. And then I doubled down on that, and I was like, no, let's talk about when I was younger.
Yeah, so we putting everyone on the spot today.
Yeah, I know. We were asked to come on the podcast to talk about 16 going on 23, and then we both messed up and sent when I was younger, but you ended up liking it. So
yes.
we're gonna dive in.
Yes. When I was younger is a wonderful song. Like, I got an email from Miles saying, hey, we're releasing this November 4th, 2022, just so you know the date. And here's a link. So I listened to it because I'm like, I'm prepared to go in about 16 going on 23. And I was like, I listened to it and I was like, oh my God, this song is so good. I'm obsessed. This is a great song. It's giving the pop vibes. Like it has that warm feeling. I think we talked about that youthfulness, that nostalgia. It's really fully formed. I love it. I'm ready to dive in. So yeah, we really decided on a new song like an hour before we were recording this. So know that it's that good. It's that good. So, like, who or what inspired you to write the song?
Oh, well, we took a writing trip to Hocking Hills, Ohio, and stayed in a cabin for 3 days and kind of just set up our gear in a circle with really no ideas pre the writing trip. The goal is just to maybe see what happens. So we were, hanging out in the hot tub at night and just like going on hikes and really just trying to like escape from the busyness of daily living. And it went pretty well. I think we're going to end up producing all the songs that we wrote on that trip. They're going to end up being fully formed. We're working on the last one. We got out of it right now. But at the very end of the trip, I just was like, all right, it's like something wasn't working. We were doing something that wasn't working. I was like, all right, let's just like, we need a Kilby Girl. Have you heard the song Kilby Girl?
No.
By the Backseat Lovers. Okay. It's this.
Wait, I'll side note about Backseat Lovers. I think I've listened to all their songs.
Oh, okay.
I just don't know the names.
Okay. Yeah. So it's their big one. It's like I overheard that she was 19.
Yes.
That song.
Yes. I know that song.
So we used to close shows with that song because it's so fun. And we closed two Lawrence shows with it, actually. And we were like, we need a closer that's ours. We hated closing with a cover. Even though it worked really well, we just wanted it to be ours. Yeah. And so I just like out of nowhere, just kind of played this little riff on Jill's synth MIDI keyboard. And everybody's ears kind of, I feel like it was just a moment like, oh, what was that?
Yeah.
And then Derek kind of chimed in with a drum idea, and it was kind of off to the races from there. So it was a pretty organic moment, actually pre-Hocking Hills though, where we just kind of like organically came up with some stuff over some chords Patrick brought in. Yeah, I can't even really. It was a very organic process. I'll say that, like piece by piece, just kind of. The first song we ever put out, where when we started, we had no concept of like what we were going to do going forward. Mm-hmm. So that was a cool moment for us, I would say. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is there a deeper meaning behind the song at all? I hear it's coming out of like collaboration.
Yeah, I mean, not really. It's not really super deep. Nothing's really super metaphoric about it. Not really that type of song. Just exploring, a lot like 16 going on 23, how weird your 20s are. Moving out of, or it feels like getting whiplash out of your childhood, kind of.
Yes.
It's very strange. Like there's no buffer period. And you suddenly start to realize that you are older, even though relatively young, speaking in terms of everyone. You start to realize you're not 18 anymore. You're not 20 anymore. You're getting those mid 20 years. It's just strange. So a lot of writing we've been thinking about that a lot in general, I would say.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Yes.
The fact that I'm closer to 50 than Burt.
Yeah. 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 Adam's a little older than me, just by about a year and a half. But yeah. So I mean, there's really no like hidden like deeper thing. One of the lines is I fell asleep at school and woke up in my parents' basement, which basically just means like I feel like I was just in English class.
Yes.
And now I'm like trying to be a musician, and like a lot of my friends have moved out of their parents' houses, and I'm like just now doing that. So I feel like I'm just like a big grown-up 16-year-old. It feels very strange.
Yes.
So that's kind of what the song's about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I totally get that.
Yeah.
Totally get that vibe from the song.
Cool.
It really is jarring. Like
It's very strange.
being in your 20s, because it's like after a certain age you're no longer a young adult. Like it's like, oh my god, like I'm an adult, I'm not a kid. Like
Yeah.
I don't have any papers to turn in. Like people expect things from me.
Yeah.
It's just a lot. Like how I don't know, but you really did express that through the song.
Awesome.
So
Thank you.
because it's definitely a hard feeling to capture without being like extremely depressing and sad.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I don't really think we're trying to. I mean, we don't really set out to make songs super sad most of the time.
Yeah.
Even if we're talking about something that's really sad, or, I don't know, like it's a subject that you could be perceived as being depressing or whatever. We usually disguise it with a pop song melody,
Yes.
you know, and that's what we're on this huge kick, which is what I'm talking about. But that's what the 1975 does so well. It's like you listen to Matty Healy talk. It's like every song is major pentatonic scale, sounds super poppy and happy a lot of the times, except like "Be My Mistake" is the only song I can think of that's super sad. But and then you read the lyrics and you're like, wow, he's going through something.
yeah, yep, definitely.
But it just I think the best bands in history, this might be a little bit hot of a take, but like the best bands do that. Being intentionally sad is so lame.
yeah,
I don't know. I think it's super lame. I think the Beatles were really amazing at this, where they would just describe the most screwed up things, but put them like "When I'm 64" is a sad song to me,
yeah,
to be honest, but it's like the happiest song they ever did. You know?
exactly. Shout out to the Beatles.
Maxwell's "Silver Hammer" is another song from Abbey Road. It's literally about a serial killer.
Yep.
And it's like the poppiest, happiest thing on that album.
Yes.
So I think it's a cool juxtaposition to put really, poppy sounding music with more contemplative type lyrics.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
That's the best music.
Yeah.
Be sad in your own time.
Yeah,
Like,
seriously, we don't have
just
time
give-
for that.
Yeah, just give us happy sounding music. Do whatever you want with the lyrics.
Yeah.
Just cover it up.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you mentioned, going through your early 20s, like not feeling like a kid anymore, realizing you're an adult. Like, who do you hope to reach with the song?
Anyone.
Yeah.
Anyone?
Yeah, I think that's the beautiful thing about our music, kind of what Miles was saying. Any age range, any person. Because we're all human. The human race is going through the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Like trying to figure this out.
All at the same time.
Each day is a new day that no one has ever seen before.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
We're trying to we're trying to reach everyone. I think this song maybe specifically more for people in their 20s.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I'm sure even people like older though would feel that.
yeah, I think most people who are older would just kill to be younger, whatever age they are.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah, it's for really everyone, but we're trying to capture this thing on this album of like how crazy the lived human experience is. Like how, like Adam was saying, every day is a completely unknown new thing for everyone, and how wild that is. And sometimes it's like hard to even wrap your head around.
Yeah.
And so we're just trying to write to figure it out, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're trying to, music's for everyone though. We're not gatekeeping it.
No.
Yeah.
I was definitely thinking about like people in their 20s though.
Yeah.
I would say when I wrote the song, like going through that weird, you're not a teen anymore, but you feel like you're not an adult at all.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It hurts and it's definitely painful, but
Yeah.
this song is the new anthem. So if you're, for all the 20-year-olds out there,
would be
it
awesome.
does get better.
Tell
It does get better, but
Tell the TikTok Tell the TikTok girlies to hop on.
Yes. Yes.
We need some TikTok clout.
Yes, please. Stream. But so, as you grow and continue to go through all these changes as you get older, like how do you feel like at this moment when you listen to the song? You feel different every day, but
I'll let you talk about that. You can be honest.
I don't know. That the song really makes me just. I mean, we have, in my opinion, this may be a hot take, we have one of the best music writers in the world, the lyrical writers in the world right here. And I mean that. I don't.
It's extremely hot take.
It's extremely hot take. But it's just, I feel even when we play it, like I just feel the honesty behind the song. Because my mind's there pretty much every day on how quick I'm personally aging and everything else, and so it resonates really deeply. Yeah, it's just it just hits me right in the heart.
Yeah,
and I think that's what good music does.
Yeah, like a lot of times I'll not listen to our music because we've heard it 500 times before it even comes out.
Yeah,
and I listen to this song, so that's got to be a good sign for me.
Yeah.
I like it enough to keep listening to it, so I think we accomplished what we set out to do with the track.
Yeah,
which is a good feeling.
It's great. It's great that you haven't completely separated from it, because I can only imagine how hard it is to hear the same song over and over
and
again.
your own voice.
Yeah, your own voice, and then you put it out, and then it's everyone else's, and then you're going through all that. So yeah, it's great that you can still listen to it.
Yeah,
because that is rare. You kind of touched on this when you said when you were speaking about people in their 20s and growing up, but like how do you really want people to feel when they listen to it?
I would hope that when they listen to it, that they can sit there and resonate with all the things that they've completed up till now. You know what I mean?
Like not trying to make people feel bad.
No, like everything that they've been able to accomplish is a big success. As Borat would say, big success.
Yes.
Big success.
Great success.
Shout out to Bora.
Yeah, so shout out to. But yeah, that everything you do on each day you wake up, that you've accomplished something new.
Yeah, if you're trying, you're winning.
Exactly.
Yes.
And so the song isn't supposed to be like, man, remember when you were young? That was awesome, and now your life sucks.
Yeah.
That's not what it's supposed to be. It might come across that way, that's fine, but it's not what it is. I hope people can feel a little hopeful after it, and just realize that younger them would probably be really proud of what older them is doing.
Yes.
So I know I am, like, even doing something like this with you, where you like reached out to us, like when we were 16, we probably would not have guessed that anyone would care about our songs.
Yeah.
So you're moving forward even when you don't realize that you are moving forward sometimes.
Definitely.
I think we want people to feel like that after they listen. So
yeah, that's a wonderful thing to want people to feel like you should keep going, like it gets better, but actually showing it in action is another thing rather than just saying the things. You're doing it with the band, so amazing.
Thank you.
Wonderful. So thinking about the process of writing and recording and kind of like bringing the song to life, like what would you change, like if anything, about the song?
Well, I think it came out how we wanted.
Yeah.
But one thing I would change is about our process, and we talk about this all the time, is like I wish we had space to spend more time experimenting, because when you're in our position, we don't have our own fully functional. We have a studio that we can make demos in, more of like a basement type setup, but we just don't have the gear to be able to like put that polish on it. So we go to a studio, and you're paying to be there.
Yeah.
So at the same time as you're trying to curate a vibe and feel like it's just a hang where you're making music and being honest with each other, you're also paying hourly to be there.
Yes.
So I wish we could sit and just work on, synthesizer patches for 4 of those 8 hours a day. But sometimes we don't get the time to really do that. So we just make decisions on the fly. which has helped us put songs out. Like, we don't get decision paralysis because we don't have the time or the money to.
Yeah.
But also, you know, I sometimes wish we could like go back and revisit, like, what if we did this? What if we did that? But sometimes we just don't have the time.
Yeah.
And so we roll with it.
Yeah. And I think that gives endless possibilities in the future to be able to go back and when we do have that situation where we have a studio that isn't going to charge us per hour.
Yeah.
We can go back and revisit those changes,
or we have enough funds to just not care how many hours it takes us. One of those two things.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. So you kind of touched on how your younger self would feel like seeing you where you are today. So like if you could speak to your younger self like in real time, like what would you say?
That's a very good question.
Yeah. I've known him for a long time too, so it should be interesting. I've never heard him answer this question.
I'm gonna cry saying this. Goodness gracious.
Yeah.
I would tell myself that it's okay not to have everything figured out. That you don't have to have a plan. That it's okay to search for the truth.
Yeah.
It's
like, it's a weird question for me and Adam because we've known each other since we were like in those younger days, like very formative teenage years. And I think we were very afraid when we were younger. Very different people than we are now. And I would, along the lines of what Adam just said, like I would go back and just tell my younger self that like, I mean, I wouldn't change anything about what I did because it led me here, but I would just like tell him to chill out. Yes. Like it's going to be okay. Just period after that. Like, it's just going to be okay.
Yeah.
As long as all you have to do is keep going. That's all you have to do. And keep, like Adam said, searching for the truth and being honest and just keep going. And that work sometimes goes unnoticed, but if you keep doing it, somebody will care eventually. And we were afraid of pissing people off, being wrong. We were afraid of doing the wrong thing a lot. Just like a lot of guilt.
Yeah.
In our younger days, I would say. And now I think some of that is being freed up as we get older. But just the general knowledge that if you keep going, it will work itself out eventually. Whatever it is probably what I would tell myself.
Yeah.
At 16. So, yeah.
That's a beautiful thing. Yeah. Just keep going. It really does get better.
It's pretty simple. Like, it's not that profound. I realize I'm not the first person to say that, but it's oversaid and overstated because it's so true.
Yeah, it's important. Yeah, exactly. It's very easy to quit. Like, life is hard.
Yeah.
So if you can keep going, it really is a beautiful thing to be able to do.
For certain.
So, yeah. So you mentioned earlier a clothing brand, a new album, lots of new music. Like, what's next for the band?
Well, we don't really know, but we're definitely trying a lot. We're throwing a lot at the wall to see what sticks right now. I think touring is a big thing for us. Finding an agent that works for us is a big goal for us as well. We've definitely been on the search, and people are interested. And it's just about finding the right situation, the right time, because we want to play out more. We love playing. I mean, we would play 200. We would play 300 shows a year. I don't care. Like we love playing so much. So. Buying a van and getting out on the road more is definitely a huge goal. But as far as the album and the clothing brand and all that, that's ongoing right now. Those are kind of goals of ours from years past that we're finally getting to bring to fruition now. So it's interesting because we don't know anything just in general. Mm-hmm. So we're just kind of figuring out music business and apparel business on the fly as we go here. And it's really rewarding and really challenging at the same time.
Yeah.
So
that's the way.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it. Just jump in and you can fix things as you go. It's better to just, I'm not plugging Nike right now, but it is a
do
good
it.
idea to just, just do the thing, okay?
Yes. That's
So,
what
yeah,
we've been doing for
I'm
years
great.
now. Like our career in music is basically us lying on our resume and then figuring out how to do the thing we lied about in post. Like that's basically what we've been doing. So.
That's what you have to do. That's what you have to do.
Yeah.
So where can people find you? Like on streaming, on social media? Like where? Like give us all the handles.
Yeah, any streaming platform, you can find us at the Wonderlands. Online, you can find us at thewonderlandsband.com. Social media, thewonderlandsband.com, anywhere.
Yeah.
So you can find us.
I will say recently people have just been searching Wonderlands. I've noticed that this is a thing and it won't come up. If like on Spotify, that's a whole different, like that brings up somebody else. So if you got to put that "the" in there, it's very important.
Don't forget the.
Yeah.
You heard him.
But yeah, the Wonderlands Band, anywhere online, you'll find us somewhere.
Woohoo.
Type that in Google.
Yes, stream their music, buy their music, go to their shows, do all the things, and keep your eyes out for new music and clothes.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
yep, shout out. Thank you both so much for being
thank
on.
you.
Thank you,
I
Jada.
had such a great time talking to you both. Thank you for listening to In My Tracks. The show was created and produced by me, your host and friend, Jada Burt. And shout out to Play Audio Agency for producing, recording, and editing the show. And for composing the original theme music you are currently jamming out to. It is truly a labor of love, and I hope you enjoy it. To continue the fun, follow In My Tracks Pod on all social channels. Don't forget to use hashtag InMyTracksPod to share the songs that stop you in your tracks. Looking to discover even more awesome music? Follow In My Tracks Pod on Spotify for weekly playlists. And please remember to follow the show so you don't miss an episode. And leave a review if you're enjoying it. See you next time!